I really feel it's important that we get the story out about this building and so many parts of the story. And I think the story has to start with the dream. Right before 2000, around 1998, we were assessing what our needs were.
We're not sitting too far away from where the original council building was up the street here on Maple Street. And the building was so small. There was always a need for more space for whatever it is that we were working on. And we knew that we needed to have a cornerstone. We needed to have a cornerstone within the council where we could center programming, where we could bring people, where we could bring troops, where we could bring scouts, where we could bring members of the public.
The other part that we were looking for was a place where girls could meet other girls from different areas so that they could not only just talk about diversity, but perhaps spend the weekend together and get to know each other as people. And also we knew that that center or place needed to be a place that we could better serve adults who were working with girls, and they needed the help to understand how to deal with girls who had issues or girls that wanted to learn things that they weren't qualified in. Where do you go? How do you move from there? And in this case, it was our adult leaders, it was the girls, parents, were all invited. And we gathered in small groups, big groups, you know, go wherever the girls are and sit them down and get them to dream. Talk about the concepts of what you'd like to do in this building. And therefore, what would it have to look like to give you the courage to be able to do those things?
It seems to be a common thread through what goes on in this building. The girls are part of everything, which is wonderful. Designing the building, putting the programs together, long-term, day-to-day activities. They have the input of these young women, which is part of training them to be leaders down the road.
It was fascinating. Girls were involved at every step, and it was so exciting to see them talk about what they would want to do in this space and how this space would serve them.
It said it has to be a very bold front. We want a very bold face on this building. We're here. Girl Scouts are here. We are strong. We are proud. We want this bold face. But then they said on the inside, they wanted it kind of wrap around, and they wanted spots like these fireplaces where they could sit and talk and be more close to one another and to share in a very warm feeling.
It had to have space for small girl gatherings, large girl gatherings, public gatherings, and it had to have the ability to service programming from small groups up to hundreds of people.
And the girls said what they wanted to see in a building back in 2000, that's what's happening. They're sitting around the fireplaces and they're talking. And they're sharing their lives. A lot of sensitive issues have been shared in this building. And that's a wonderful thing to see, where girls can feel safe and they can feel supported and they can feel like they can learn from one another.
And they were so happy and excited about it. And then to see it come to fruition and then to see them come into the building and use it exactly the way that they had described and the way that we had anticipated was so satisfying. It was personally satisfying, and I know that the greater Kalamazoo community is served every day by the existence of this building.
It's also an economic engine for this area. It brings people in. It's a hub of activity. It's a much part of the community as your local entrepreneurs are, local businesses. And we need to look at it in financial terms. And it needs support, it needs to stay vibrant, but in keeping it supported and keeping it vibrant, we're helping ourselves because of the activity that goes on here on a daily basis.
But we're now at a point where we need to grow that. And in order to do that, we need the money to do that. But we do have the capability of having additional money, and that is if we pay off this mortgage. If we pay off that debt, we will have an additional $80,000 to $85,000 every single year to put into programming to further the things that we can do for girls here.